I have received a question from one of you guys that I think is worth doing a video on, because nowadays a lot of people find themselves in a very similar situation to this one. So the question reads, good morning, Pao. I'm in a very difficult period in my life. I am in debt, my girlfriend left me a few months ago, my dropshipping journey has been terrible, and I am not finding any success whatsoever. The big problem I have is I'm still very complacent and comfortable. What do I do to get myself out of this situation and get myself to stop procrastinating and to stop having this complacent mindset? I think this is extremely common, and look, I'm gonna tell you something that I believe you're not gonna like and you probably haven't heard from many people before. But just to preface this, what I'm about to tell you is for those of you who've tried everything and nothing seems to work, okay? You've tried to change your value system, your productivity routines, you've tried new techniques, like whatever, all of these things that you could try to improve your life and nothing seems to work, this video is for you. So look, I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't think you're gonna like my answer, but sometimes in life, for things to get better, first, they have to get even worse. Because here's the thing, we all have different thresholds of what we are willing to accept. So if we have a scale here from 10 being at your best in your life and 0 being at the absolute rock bottom, some people only get in gear and start taking action in their life maybe when they're almost at rock bottom, at level 2 or level 1. Because if they are at level 3, level 4, level 5, they're still willing to accept those circumstances. Because as bad as this situation might be, maybe it's not bad enough yet for you to start moving. Because as humans, we are wired for energy preservation. And even if you're down bad, like right here, you're still surviving somehow. Maybe your parents are paying stuff for you, maybe it's the government, maybe it's an easy job that you have, maybe you're staying at someone's place, but there's still a system that's holding you and protecting you and allowing you to keep surviving. And that's all the brain cares about. Your brain is wired for survival and comfort, which is exactly what this person was mentioning right here. So then if you're at level 3 or level 4, your brain is thinking like, why would I go and risk it all, which could lead me to be at level 1 or level 0, just so that I can be at level 6, level 7, level 8, which yeah, life would be better, but it's not like you're going to transcend to some other dimension. Like life is exactly the same if you're doing better. You're still eating food, you're still taking showers, like it's basically the same. And that's all your brain understands. If you were to get in a situation in which your survival was at risk, trust me, like your brain would kick in and you would start taking action like a madman. Even if you had no place to stay, you only had like $50, no job, no nothing, trust me, like within a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you would have figured something out. But that's because you hit this rock bottom right here. There's this famous story in Spain of one of the richest guys in the country who in his 20s, he was trying to start all of these businesses. He wanted to make a lot of money, but he kept failing. He was doing all right, but not that good. Eventually, I think he went bankrupt. And then all of a sudden, the wife gets pregnant with twins, if I remember correctly. And then that's when he kicked in gear. That's when his brain was like, okay, this is a new level of responsibility. The way things are going right now are not acceptable. The threshold has moved because of the new circumstances, and his killer instincts in a way kicked in. And within 2 or 3 years, he became a multi-millionaire, and then a few years later, he became one of the richest guys in the country. But that's the thing that changed him, you know? It was the fact that he hit this rock bottom that was the trigger for him to finally get serious. And this is the situation that this subscriber and maybe a lot of you guys find yourself in. Like, yes, maybe you're down bad, but you're not down bad enough, because most people don't take action unless it is extremely necessary to do so. Here's the thing, there's 2 ways in which we understand things as humans. We can understand things logically, or we can understand things emotionally. Right now, you do understand that logically it would be nice to have a better life, to have a life that's maybe a 7 or 8, a 9. Maybe you've thought about it, maybe you know someone in your life that has that kind of life and you've been inspired, or the content that you've been consuming online, you see all of these people have success. So you logically understand that, yes, I could have something like this if I put myself to work and I focused and I did all of these things, and then I would have these results. But the thing is that emotionally, you don't understand that yet. And it's not just so much you, but your brain and your body, your soul, your mind, whatever you want to call it, because your brain has not experienced enough reasons for you to put the pedal to the metal and take life-changing action. Because the way you understand things emotionally are through experiences. That's what the brain uses as reasons to change. Because here's the thing, most of the decisions that you make in life are actually emotional decisions. I've met a few guys who are worth more than $100 million, and they told me they got there by either 2 ways. First one is because they're extremely paranoid. These guys constantly tell me like, how they wake up and they're like, I don't have enough money. What if this happens? What if this country gets in trouble? And what if my company vanishes? What if I have an emergency? What if they shut down my bank account? Like all of these things, they're extremely paranoid about everything. They're anxious and they just want more and more and more because they feel they don't have enough yet. And then the other group of guys who I've met that are worth a lot of money is because they just have fun doing what they do. In a way, they see the whole thing like a video game. They just wake up and they're intrinsically curious about the thing they're working on, their business. For the most part, they enjoy almost all the parts of the process. Yeah, for sure, there's things that they might not like so much, but they're just curious, they're just in flow, having fun. And in a way, they do it because otherwise they wouldn't know what else to do. Just like what people who play video games do. And if you think about it, both of these responses, they're emotional. They're not logical. We like to think that all of these billionaires and millionaires and super successful people, it is all about logic, which they are to some extent, but there is a massive, unspoken about emotional component to it that most people are unaware of. Okay, having fun, it is completely emotional. It's just for the sake of it. It's because of how it makes them feel. And being paranoid, it's the exact same thing. Probably it's because of something that happened while they were growing up. Maybe something with their parents or something that once they were adults, something else happened that made them go bankrupt or an extremely difficult situation financially. And they thought to themselves like, this is never happening again. I want to be prepared and I want to always have this massive financial security. So the thing is that if your logic is not aligned with your emotions, you're not going to take action. Think about the things that this subscriber was describing on his message. All of these are emotions. I feel complacent, I feel comfortable, I want to stop procrastinating, which basically means I'm getting distracted. All of these things are very emotional. So it is all about aligning your emotions with your logic. And this applies to everything in life. You know, if you think about a guy like David Goggins, it was basically the same story. I read his book, and at one point in his life, he was so massively overweight. He had such a bad job that he hated so much. He hit such an absolute bottom on his life that one day he's like, I've had it. Like, this cannot continue anymore. And he even describes to this day how he uses that as fuel to not go back down here. Because that's the thing, to some people, this is what happens. If you don't reach a bottom that's low enough, or you don't have enough emotional reasons, yes, you might eventually start to rise back up and maybe you get to a 6, to a 7, to an 8. But then emotionally, you'll start to relax because you'll be like, oh, okay, things are good. I don't have to try as hard. But because your foundation was not strong enough, you'll start to relax and you'll go back down again, which is what a lot of people go through. They have these crazy ups and downs and ups and downs. But if you have something solid like David Goggins, probably you're not going back down. Now, the reason why some people cannot do that and cannot achieve those solid emotional foundations is because they have one foot in and one foot out. So what I mean by this is that they're trying a little bit, but not hard enough for them to actually have results. But at the same time, they're still leaning onto their dark side, but not hard enough for them to reach that rock bottom that would teach them a massive life-changing lesson. So because they have both forces, nothing on either camp is happening, and they're just stuck right here in the middle. That's why right now I'm a big believer of not giving people advice. If I see someone who has a bad diet, someone who's badly running their business, or they have a bad relationship, I just let them be. Maybe I will investigate a little bit. I might ask a few open-ended questions just to see where they at and see how open they are to hearing new ideas, or if they realize that they actually want to change because things are not working the way they could. But if that's not the case, I just let them be and I make no comment at all. Because then, because of their own actions, it will lead them to a situation that will give them a very strong emotional lesson. Now, am I saying that you have to make things worse on purpose? No, not directly. That's not in a way that would go against everything that I believe in and everything that I'm trying to teach people in this YouTube channel. I would much rather have you do all of the things that I talk about in my other videos. But maybe if you've tried all that and it doesn't work, maybe what you should do is to F around a little bit so that you find out. Maybe what you have to do is to lean into your own nature. This is something that a guy that I follow on Twitter, his name is Brute the Force, he's very big on this. Just leaning into your own nature. If you're addicted to gambling, maybe go all in. You're addicted to video games? Go all in. You're addicted to fast food? Go all in, right? Get massively overweight, go bankrupt, lose it all. Yes, it might be dangerous advice. I am fully aware of this. I'm just sharing a possible solution for people who've tried everything and nothing seems to work, because I do believe the thing in life, and the point of this guy that I follow, Brute the Force, is that life has natural cycles and your life is a natural journey. And if you're not leaning into your own nature, what you're doing is disrupting this natural journey, because you're not letting yourself go to this low that would teach you how to go to this high, because you're just stuck here, as I was saying, one foot in, one foot out. So the philosophy of just going all in and leaning into your dark side and just letting it be so that you end up learning this emotional lesson is just so that later on you can flourish because you'll have that emotional understanding. Now, here's the thing, don't get confused. The fact that once you hit that rock bottom and now you have this emotional understanding, it does not mean that going back up and getting out of that really bad situation that you put yourself in is going to be easy. Not at all. It's going to be extremely hard. But it just means that now, since you will have this understanding, once you have to go back up and you have to go through those obstacles, now you'll be able to break through, which is what before you couldn't. You're always stuck in the middle, bouncing back and forth, but now you'll be able to push through. It will still be pretty hard. It will require a lot of effort and discipline and energy, but that's how life works in a way, you know. Mistakes, sometimes we see mistakes as this thing that is just taking us back, but sometimes you have to take a few steps back so that you can really move forward. Now, if you don't like any of this, I do believe there's two other alternatives, two other things that you can do. The first one would be to find something that you like. I don't know the specific details of this person, but evolved, you've tried this dropshipping and you're obsessed by the fact that no, I have to do dropshipping, but at the same time you're procrastinating on it. Maybe, just maybe, it's a sign that you should find something else. I know this goes against the advice of a lot of people nowadays who are like, no, you shouldn't care about enjoying things. You should just make money for the sake of it, and you should be extremely disciplined, and who cares about how you feel? I don't know if I buy into all of that stuff, because if I look back in my life, all the businesses that I've been successful with, I have enjoyed them to some extent, right? So for those of you who don't know me, the first business that I ever had was e-commerce. I was able to scale my stores to 100K a month. I had fun doing it. I liked website design. I like to create funnels, how to optimize, increase conversion rates, all of that stuff. I enjoyed it. I was curious about it. I had fun running Facebook ads. Was I having an amazing time of my life? No, but it was somewhat entertaining to do so. Then I moved into affiliate marketing. Same thing, like I was curious about it. It was an interesting business model. I wanted to learn how to do it. There was a curiosity aspect to the whole thing. I've also done consulting, and I've also done other things, you know, crypto, all of these things that a lot of people have gotten into throughout the last few years. And I've been successful in many of them, and it was fun. There's other business opportunities that have been presented to me that they could have been very successful, but I didn't feel like doing them. I did not like the idea of doing those things. Now, if you do this, just be careful to not fall to the classic shiny object syndrome, in which you try something, but you just try it for a month. Oh, it doesn't work. And then you go to the next thing, which looks like a good opportunity, but same thing. You just try it for a month, and then you jump to the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. Okay? Obviously, be careful with that. Whenever I've tried things, I don't think I've ever tried anything that I did for less than 6 months. Okay? I have another video on that, so we don't have to cover it right now on this video, but yeah, maybe try something else and be patient. But I would assume if you find yourself in this situation, you've already tried stuff, and this emotional problem that you're having of getting distracted and being complacent is happening with everything, right? Which leads me to the second option, which is to spend time with people who are emotionally in the right place, because it will rub off on you. We're social creatures and we adapt to the people that we have around. And sometimes the problem that you have is that you're so much in your head that you are stuck within these patterns of your own mind. So the solution might be to have better people around, because what happens is that we start to adopt their perspectives and their philosophies that they have on life, that it's working for them, but now we're adopting it into our own minds. I've had people in my life who've been mentor figures for me, and when I've been stuck in really dark situations for months, one single conversation with them has been enough for me to finally be able to break out of that dark pattern. Because just the fact that you're talking with them and you see how they analyze your situation, you're getting like new eyeballs on the problem, and it just allows you to see things that you couldn't see before, or just like a fresh perspective. It's like resetting the whole thing in a way. If you think that could be a good solution for you, and you think that maybe I could be that person for you, I do offer one-on-one consultation calls. You can find that on my website. I'll put the link for that in the description, and we can go in depth into your specific situation. I can know more about the details, and I can give you very specific advice or just perspectives on your situation and the problems that you're facing for whatever it is that you want to talk about. So as a recap, you're faced with 3 options. Number 1, lean into your own nature so that you can touch rock bottom and finally learn your emotional lesson that will serve as a foundation for you to finally fix your life. Option number 2, find something that you like that at the same time can be productive and you can get positive results out of this. Or number 3, find a mentor figure. So that's it. I hope this video was helpful. Subscribe, so I will see you on the next video. Take care. Peace.